Welcome to the Raw Spotlight podcast, where we feature inspiring leaders in the B2B space and share their unique stories. Let's get started with the show.
Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Raw Spotlight. She's got hustle. This podcast features fearless women transforming business and life through perseverance, growth, and a healthy dose of hustle. I'm your host, Emily Au, co-founder of Ready Artwork. As a designer, marketer, and entrepreneur, I'm excited to share the inspiring stories of women making a difference. I spotlight women hustlers from B2B businesses, niche markets, major brands, local ventures, and public organizations. My guests share their success stories and how they balance life and purpose. If you're seeking real talk and motivation from women who hustle, you're in the right place. So get comfortable, settle in, and get ready to be inspired. Before we start, I have a sponsorship message. This episode is brought to you by Ready Artwork, where we deliver uniquely tailored digital marketing services to facilitate a long-term growth of your organization. At Ready Artwork, we combine data-driven insights with innovative design to help your organization succeed in the digital age. Our team of experts specializes in SEO, digital ads, web development, and email marketing. We're here to help you discover growth in unique and unexpected ways. To learn more, visit readyoutwork.com. Let Ready Artwork discover your organization's full potential. So today, I am excited to welcome Kelli Farmer, a passionate sustainable materials management professional from SCS Engineers. Kelli has dedicated her career to protecting our planet, turning her love for sustainability into impactful work in areas like zero waste management and solid waste management. She's also a recognized leader in the field, serving as the young professional representative for SWANA's Sustainable Materials Management Technical Division and creating meaningful opportunities for young professionals. Most recently, Kelli was honored with the SWANA Young Professional of the Year Award. I can't wait to explore her journey, achievements, and insight into sustainability. Kelli, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Yeah, of course. I'm very excited.
Yeah, same. It's been a bit since we collaborated on a couple of projects with LA County. And, I actually never really got to understand your background and how you got here. So I'm really excited to dive deeper into your journey and, hear about your experiences. Again, pleasure to have you on. Maybe we can touch a little bit about your career and your achievements. So I know that your career has included roles in the market research, business developments, and marketing strategies before transitioning into sustainability. How did those experiences shape your approach to your current work in sustainable management, material management?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it was a lot of new work that I did, and the current role that I have, I didn't take a lot of that experience necessarily and bring it into what I'm currently doing. So it's pretty different actually, but I think really just kind of learning about people is probably what I took from that. And then, currently working towards a lot of what we're doing is learning, people's behaviors, trying to educate them and change their behaviors into something better, I guess you could say, so that, we can reach our goal of diverting waste from landfills. So I think it's a lot of just learning about people that I've kind of brought to my current role.
Yeah. And how did you just randomly stumbled into, we joke about it, but like trash, right?
Yeah, I think everyone says that they never planned on joining this industry. So I think for me, I was going to school for sustainability, no idea really what I wanted to do. I thought maybe work for the EPA or, the public sector. And then I was just putting my name out there, trying to talk to people, figure out what exactly I could do after I graduated, because I feel like there's not really a lot of roles, when you do research online,
Yeah.
like, what can I do with a sustainability degree? It's like very specific. And so
Mhm.
I had no idea, what I was going to do. And so I was just doing informational interviews with people. And one person said, I recommend just joining an association, joining an organization, put your name out there, get to know people, because through connections, you can kind of, stumble upon maybe what you're going to do. And so that's exactly what I did. I joined an association while I was in college, said, hey, my name's Kelli. I'm graduating soon, looking to meet people, looking for opportunities. And someone reached out and said, hey, we have a job opening at SCS Engineers if you're interested in applying. And it's like, of course I am. I need a job, And so I had no idea that I was going to be working with trash after college. But, now that I'm here, I don't ever foresee myself going anywhere else. It's like, this is the industry. I got very lucky and kind of stumbled upon what I was supposed to do early in life and feel very fortunate for that.
That's amazing. What college did you attend?
Yeah, I went to San Diego State University.
Oh, nice. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice out
Yes,
there.
it's a nice campus. Yeah. And I mean, San Diego is beautiful.
Yeah.
If I would live there if I could, but Los Angeles is kind of where everyone I know is at. So this is where I'm at.
Very cool. Well, supporting the Pasadena SMM group, sounds like a dynamic role, and that's something that you're involved in. Can you share what excites you about working on projects like zero waste planning and recycling technical assistance?
Yeah, I think it's really just knowing that the work that I'm doing is impactful on our planet and our communities. For me, that's really important. That's what I always wanted to do whenever I was going to school. I have such a love for our planet. And so protecting it is kind of my goal. And knowing that I can do that, through my job, it's an amazing feeling. And I think a lot of projects that we're working on kind of help our communities as well. Like for edible food recovery, we're working on a lot of projects related to that. So taking food from businesses and putting it back out into the community to those that need it most. And I think that's just such a rewarding thing to be doing. So I feel very fortunate that I get to help the planet and help the community.
And just for our listeners, what is Pasadena SMM Group?
Yeah, so it's our sustainable materials management group that we have here in California, where we have a small location in Pasadena, California. It's just me and a few other people that are working on these projects here, but we're also in Northern California, farther Southern California, like San Diego. So we're kind of spread out all over, but specifically here in Pasadena, we work on a lot of like LA County projects, kind of like you mentioned, San Gabriel Valley projects kind of in the area.
I see. So like the surrounding areas near
Mhm.
Pasadena.
Yeah.
Okay. So I kind of low key some here and there spy on you on LinkedIn. You do a lot of public speaking, right? And data analysis and project development. How do you bring all these strengths together in your current role at SCS Engineers?
Yeah, I think it's really just learning kind of as I go. I mean, this is my first job out of college, and so a lot of what I've been doing is just learning how exactly to bring these different skill sets into one job. And I think it's really just through practice. Kind of we get a new project, I work on it, and I learn a lot as I go through the project. And then what's great is I can take the lessons and the skills that I learned from that project onto my next project. So I feel like slowly but surely, as I continue to do more work, I'm just building my skill set, which is really nice.
That's cool. I mean, I actually didn't realize SCS is pretty much one of your first full-time job. I mean, you're doing great there. So
Thank you. I got very fortunate to find such a wonderful company, wonderful job right out of college. I mean,
right.
yeah, I sing its praises all the time.
Yeah. I mean, you work alongside with Michelle. I think she's great. Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely kind of put me into a position where I could be successful. And I think that's such a great thing to have as someone not just like new to the industry, but right out of college, to have someone that can really support you and kind of put you into positions where you can be successful. So I feel very fortunate for her.
Yeah. I guess maybe looking into leadership and involvement as a whole. I know your line of work, specifically your role, right, requires collaboration with, clients and supervisory staffs, as well as oversight in field activities. What's your approach to bringing strong relationships and maintaining effective communication in such a multifaceted role?
I think it's really just listening to people and allowing, an environment where everyone can collaborate. I try and bring in the approach of listening to others. I don't want to just dictate everything and say, you do this, without actually like communicating with people and having a conversation and listening to, their ideas or their concerns, because then at that point you can really work together to make sure that you're, creating the best product or, doing the best work that's possible. And so for me, I think it's just really like an open line of communication, really a lot of collaboration. It leads to our success here, in my opinion.
Hmm. Hmm. Are there challenges in terms of like for my line of work, right? I have to translate our developers' language to clients, and at times I'm like, "Can you speak to me in English?" Are there challenges like that in your everyday day to day?
I would say yes. I mean, a lot of the projects we're working on, we have sub-consultants that we hire to help us do this work. And that's kind of, how you and I started working together. So I think that's one thing is just, trying to take what our sub-consultants are saying and make sure that like the clients are understanding or, just kind of um, staying on top of all the things that we're doing. But I don't think we have as many problems as maybe like I fortunately don't have to translate like developer language, and I don't do a lot of engineering work, so I don't have to translate engineering, terms, which is really nice. So I think probably it's mostly just whenever we're out in the field and we're talking to people that know nothing about, sustainability or, solid waste, and it's kind of explaining to them the different ordinances or laws that are in effect that they have to follow, and just kind of explaining to them what exactly they need to be doing in understandable, terms for them. So that's probably where, sometimes it can get a little bit difficult with communication.
Yeah. Well, just so listeners can understand, what does it mean when you're out in the field? What does your day look like if you're in the field?
Yeah, so right now we're doing a lot of work with Senate Bill 1383, which is a law that requires businesses and residents to recycle organic waste. So things like food waste, green waste, like shrubs, trees, grass, things like that. And so one of the things that we're working on is going out to businesses and explaining to them, the new regulations that they have to follow. They have to donate edible food. So just explaining to them, this is what you need to be doing. These are the records you need to be keeping. So going out into the field is a lot of driving to a business, talking to them, walking through different things that they need to be doing for about 30 minutes to an hour, and kind of just assessing where they're currently at and helping them to get to the point where they need to be.
I see. Are there any friction with businesses or organizations when you go out, or are they pretty acceptive of what you're trying to tell them?
It's a hit or miss. Sometimes people are like, yes, I love this. We should be doing this. Sustainability, I love it. It's like,
Hmm.
those are the people I'm like, this is fantastic. This is easy. And then, there are the other people that are like, why do we need to be doing this? It doesn't make sense. I don't want to do this. And so it's really just like the people that don't want to do it or, have a little bit of pushback, just listening to them. Again, communication, listening to what are their concerns, trying to explain to them why it's beneficial not only to them, but to the community, to the planet. And so it's, again, just listening to them and trying to figure out how exactly we need to best convey the message.
Right. That's a good point. I think it's also, like you said, the whys, right? Letting them understand, why the bigger picture, not just, their organization. So you guys are pretty much, translating the message one business at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So for you, having experience in event planning and environmental education, how do you use these skills to encourage and inspire others in your industry?
I think it's really just participating, and just again, communication. I feel like that's the thing I keep going back to,
Yeah.
but it's just explaining to people why it's so beneficial. I think volunteering to do, different work within our industry is really rewarding in my opinion. And so if there's an opportunity to volunteer to help plan an event or, help educate people, I think it's great to say like, yes, I'll take on that role because again, you just are kind of building your skill set as you go. I mean, sometimes you learn something that you're like, oh, wow, I had no idea, or like, oh, this is the best way to go about doing this. And I think that's really helpful to me, not only like personally, but professionally. And so, yeah, just volunteering to get as involved as possible and explaining to people why it's so beneficial.
Yeah. What advice would you give someone if they're looking into transitioning into your field, and especially for someone that's coming from a completely different professional background?
Volunteer, put your name out there. That's how I kind of got to where I'm at, is again just joining an association
Mhm.
and putting my name on the forum saying, hey, this is who I am. I mean, I had a degree in sustainability, but I knew nothing about the solid waste industry at all. So
Mhm.
for me, it was really just putting my name out there and then reading articles. That's
Mhm.
another really good thing. Volunteering to go places, to see things in person if you can. You
Mhm.
really, I think, generally get a good sense of our industry when you can actually visually see it. I'm a hands-on learner, so for me, that's really helpful. So,
Mhm.
reading about the industry, going places, getting involved, those are all things that I think can really help educate you about our industry, and then, maybe get you to a point where you want to work within our
Mhm.
industry and have some success.
Any group or groups you would recommend for someone to volunteer in?
Yeah, I'm gonna say SWANA because it's my favorite association by far for our industry. I think it's given me so much, and I really appreciate it for that. I mean, I meet so many new people, I learn so many new things, and so I can't stress enough how amazing SWANA is. So that's
Mhm.
Solid Waste Association of North America. But I think that's one of the best associations, and it's national, which is really nice. So it's, if you're in another state, it's not, just specifically California, we're a national association. So you can kind of get involved no matter where you're at. And it's everything about our industry, not just sustainable materials management, which I'm part of, but,
Mhm.
kind of like a wide variety of information for our industry. So that's
Nice.
probably the best, yeah, that I would suggest.
Nice, nice. Okay. Maybe looking into the industry insights and perhaps challenges as well. But with your hands on experience in waste management and disposal reporting, what trends are you noticing in waste management that need more attention from businesses and communities?
Um, I would say one thing that I consistently read about is plastic. Like single-use plastic is a really big issue, not just, for businesses, but also just our planet. I mean, if you do research single-use plastic, it takes forever to break down, and sometimes it just is like smaller pieces. It basically breaks down into microplastics, which are like small pieces that are microscopic that you can't see. So
Hmm.
I think for me, single-use plastic is a really big issue that I, hope to see our industry work more towards, stopping the use of single-use plastic. And I know that's the one thing that we're working on with Los Angeles County is their ordinance for single-use plastic. So that's one thing that I see kind of being the future of our industry and really working towards, stopping the use of. So.
Yeah, yeah. I know there's a big initiative and push on making sure that businesses are aware of the situation and then reducing that use. So, yeah, I do agree with you on that. And I suppose that's also a big friction with a lot of local businesses and single use plastic as well, I suppose.
Yeah, a lot of them, it's a cheaper option. And so it's hard to kind of, you know, get them to want to use something that's more
Mhm.
sustainable because it is more expensive for them. And unless they're really, understanding of sustainability, it can be difficult. But again, it's kind of just going back to this is good for the planet, it's good for the community, it's good for you, without single-use plastics, you don't have to worry about microplastics. And
Yeah.
that's something that like we're inhaling, we're ingesting daily, and it's really bad for us, like our health. So
Right.
it's kind of, going over all of that information with them. But yeah, I get it. You're business and your revenue is very important. And so it's kind
Right.
of just talking to them about it.
Right. It's to them, it's convenient, it's affordable, right? And
Mhm.
well, if someone is using single-use plastics, what can they use as an alternative? What would you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, always using something reusable like metal spoons and forks and knives. That's, the best. That's up here. That's what the goal is. But, if that's not an option, then something compostable is also beneficial. There are certain certifications, BPI and CMA. So looking for, products that are meeting those certifications are really fantastic. And Los Angeles County actually has a list on their website of
Mm.
all of the, approved products that are meeting those certain requirements and are suggested to use. So that's also an option, and that's a resource that I would point anyone in that direction to go check out that resource on Los Angeles County's website, to see kind of what other products they could use.
Sounds good. Based on your work in zero waste planning, what practical advice do you have for companies looking to improve their recycling and waste reduction efforts?
Education, really is the best key. I think if you're educating the people within your company, it's going to lead to a lot more success than, just saying, "Hey, do this," and then just kind of leaving it there. So
Mhm.
education and outreach is always like one of the best things that you can do to kind of meet those goals that you have for zero waste. So that's probably my biggest recommendation is making sure that you're creating the correct materials to give to your employees and explaining to them what exactly they need to be doing.
Right, right. And the earlier we spoke about, the whys, right? Why are we doing this? And,
Mhm.
here's how. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. Okay, so maybe looking into personal growth and then your future goals. I know in your earlier days, maybe reflecting on your internship and your career roles, like your time at Zero Waste Washington, what lessons or skills do you still rely on today?
Ooh, that's a good question. That has me digging back 4 years. I'm like, oh, 4 years goes by and very quickly. Probably the thing that I learned most was communicating with the people not in person, so, like, that are remote.
Mm.
My internship with Zero Waste Washington, I was actually living in Los Angeles when I was interning with them in Washington, and
Mm.
so all of my work had to be virtual, and I had to communicate, meetings, emails, planning, everything was virtual, and so I think that's one thing that I've taken from them and brought to this, role because we are working with a lot of people virtually. We don't have a lot of meetings in person with whether they're our clients or even just our in-person team. And so making sure that you're, sending those follow-up emails if there's something that you need to get done or checking in with people virtually via meeting or, phone call or email just to see how everything's going. I think that's probably one of the things that I've tried to take away from that is just how to communicate with people remotely.
Yeah, that's something we had to all kind of navigate, especially through COVID too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like after COVID, it just kind of stuck, and this is my first job out of college, and I hear a lot about the industry prior to COVID when people would go and have in-person meetings all the time with clients, and that's foreign to me. I don't know what that looks like because all my meetings, are generally virtual. So, yeah, it's interesting to hear how things have changed since COVID.
Right, right. I think pre-COVID, even here at Ready at Work, we did a lot of we submitted a lot of RFPs and they were traveling to meetings and all of that in terms of the quoting process. And we're like, we don't need to travel anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great because, I mean, I think you're getting things done. You're being a little bit more time effective because you're not traveling, but it's kind of like then you have back-to-back meetings and you kind of have to make sure to remind yourself like, okay, give yourself a break between meetings. They don't need to be back to back if you can, prevent it. So I think that's also something to keep in mind.
Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons. There are a few things that you just cannot do virtually.
Mhm.
Connect a lot better.
Yeah.
You communicate a lot more efficiently and effectively
Mhm.
in person. But yeah,
Yeah.
pros and cons.
Yeah, pros and cons.
So looking ahead, what are your aspirations for your career in sustainable materials management? Is there a specific project or goal you're especially passionate about achieving?
Um, I think the work that we're doing in the San Gabriel Valley is probably one of my proudest things that we've done, and that's just a regional approach to the edible food recovery program that's required by that bill that I mentioned earlier, Senate Bill
Mhm.
1383.
Yeah.
So we're working with about 18 different cities in the San Gabriel Valley right now to help them develop and implement an edible food recovery program. And I think that's probably for me one of the most exciting projects that I've worked on, just because not only are we, again, doing a great job for the planet by diverting, this edible food from landfill, but we're also kind of getting it back out into the community to those that need it. And so I think for me, that's just like a project that I love so much. It's very rewarding, and I look forward to continue working on. Um, yeah, that's probably my favorite project.
Okay. And you mentioned like 18 cities. Like, why is it just 18 cities? How does that work?
Yeah, it's really up to the city if they want to sign up to do,
Mm.
a regional approach. Each city is required to be implementing these edible food recovery programs, but it's kind of up to them if they want to join the regional program that we have here in the San Gabriel Valley. And so a lot of them have joined, which is
Mhm.
been a great opportunity for them, I think, to really be a part of something big. But um, yeah, it's really up to the city if they want to join. And the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments has more cities, so it's
I
kind of up
see.
to them, yeah, if they want to join or not. But it's slowly started. I think 11 cities, and we've worked our way to 18. So each time one joins, it's like, oh my gosh, all
That's
right, up to
amazing.
18. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
if a city were to decide they're not part of the 18, let's just say, and they decide on, hey, I want to be part of this, how do they get to join this?
Yeah, usually they would talk to the Council of Governments, like the SGB cog that
Mhm.
is here. They're one of the cities within the SGB cog. They can talk to them and say, hey, we're interested in joining the regional edible food recovery program. And I think then there's some discussion that they have, and then eventually, like, we start the work with them. So
I see.
yeah,
Amazing stuff.
yeah. I mean, it does. It feels great. Anytime I talk about it, I get very excited because I'm like, can you believe it? It's just, yeah, a great program and great work that we're doing here. So I feel very lucky.
Hmm. So let's just say you have unlimited resources. What innovative, sustainable project or initiative would you try to launch?
There was actually something that I tried to start in college,
Mhm.
and I'm just not an engineer, so I don't think I could get it off the ground. But I had this like idea that I wanted to create, um, like, whenever you go and there's a vending machine and it fills a coffee cup for you, and then you
Yeah.
take the coffee cup to go. I kind of wanted to do something like that with like our own bottles, but for like juices or sodas or something, because right now, like, you go and there are a lot of single-use plastic bottles that you get your soda or juice in. And I really wanted to curb that and instead have people bring their own container, put it in the vending machine, and it fills it up with like juice or soda or whatever it is that they want to drink, and then they can take it away with them. Um, and to kind of move away from that plastic bottle. That was my goal, but it's an idea that did not get off the ground.
Mm.
So it's just an idea living in my head. So if
That's
anyone
really
wants to,
cool. Yeah, so
it's
it's like a vending machine, beverage vending machine dispenser that's kind of BYOC, bring your own
Mhm,
container.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah. So, kind of like a fountain machine, but you would see it at like anywhere you go, like a vending machine instead of
Right.
just a gas station or something like that.
Right.
So
I like that. That's actually really cool. I know like a lot of public places like malls or even gyms, right? They have a lot of water dispensers for you where you just bring your own, water container. But
yeah.
you took it to the next level where it's the
Yeah.
vending machine and you get to
Yeah.
choose your beverage of your choice.
Exactly. Yeah. It was kind of like the water fountain, but for
Right.
like all other drinks so that like everything's covered. So
Love it.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate the positivity.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something I'll ever develop, but if anyone out there wants to take the idea and run with it, please do. I would love to see something like this implemented. So, yeah.
I mean, it's a great idea. Maybe, I think you should give it a little bit more thought. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there are some kinks in it, but yeah, it's an idea. So,
Okay.
single-use plastic, though, I will say, sorry to interrupt, but
No.
single-use plastic is kind of that was my passion in college, and that's something that it's just like, how can we stop this? Stop single-use plastic in like unnecessary areas. And so that was kind of my idea.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Okay. So outside of work, what's your hobby or passion that helps you stay inspired and energized?
I just started Pilates, and that's been something that's been nice. It's I think the endorphins, it's fantastic to have that kind of endorphin release, and also just exercise is so good for your body and for your mind. Other than that, I would say my dog, I have a 1-year-old dog, and he's just like the light of my life. So I'd say like, I don't know, he keeps me energized. I think just taking care of him and loving him and giving him like the best life.
What is his name and what kind of dog is he?
His name's Leo, and he's a Goldador, so he's a cross between a golden retriever and a lab.
Very cute.
Yeah, I'm biased, but yeah, he's pretty cute.
Leo. Okay.
Leo, yeah.
And Pilates is hard. I tried it a couple of times. It's a major core killer.
Oh my gosh, I did it this morning before work, and I'm like, Monday morning yoga or Pilates class before work, 6 a.m. I might need a few cups of coffee today to get
You're
through,
early.
but-
You're early bird.
Generally, I'm not. It was just, this was like, all right, I got to do it. New year, started off right, exercise. So, yeah.
Very cool. Okay, I have one last question for you. What is your favorite tool or software that you find essential for your day-to-day work?
I use Teams Planner a lot. So I don't know if anyone's used that, but that's probably for me the best tool that I could suggest to those that have a lot of different tasks that they're working on. I mean, sometimes I'm working on like 5 to 10 projects at a time. And so, being able to kind of put each project and then the task that I'm supposed to be working on, and then the deadline and what, subtasks that I need to be doing, that's really helpful for me to kind of keep track of everything that I'm doing, making sure I'm keeping with the deadline that I have in place, and just, getting the work done. So I would recommend that to anyone that kind of needs that organization tool. It's fantastic.
Okay, so it's kind of like a task management within Teams then.
Yeah. Yeah. And we use Teams at SCS. So it's kind of like comes with what I work on. And it's the only thing that I found to be really helpful for me. So yeah, I recommend anyone check it out if you need some organization tool.
Okay, great. Well, Kelli, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. Your passion for sustainability and commitment to supporting young professionals is truly amazing. And congratulations again for your SWANA Young Professional of the Year Award. And before we go, if listeners want to find out more about you, where can they go?
Yeah, you can always see me on LinkedIn or send me an email, whatever works. I'm open to discussion with anyone.
Great. So it's been such a pleasure having you on the Raw Spotlight. She's got hustle. Thank you for inspiring us, and thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Until next time. Thank you, Kelli.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Raw Spotlight podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.